And this is our agenda for today. We are going to install WinSCP and VirtualBox on Windows, and then we'll configure Ubuntu on VirtualBox, and we will configure SSH so that we are able to use any file that we store on Ubuntu. So first you need to download and install WinSCP. Now I use this freely available website called 9 It gives you a lot of options to download freeware. You just need to look for WinSCP here. You do a select and you click get your 9 and this will start downloading the 9 WinSCP installer. I'll change the location. This works pretty fast, so you can see this is downloaded. You don't need to do anything, you just double click on this installer and that's it. You click yes, it will download 9 it will install 9 and you will get a message installation successful. 9 by default ignores all the other software installation requests, and it accepts the most default settings for you to quickly start using the software. So our step 1, downloading WinSCP, this is complete. We move on to downloading the VirtualBox. Now you can download VirtualBox from this URL. You go to this page, and because I'm using a Windows machine, you click on Windows hosts and it will give you the download exe option immediately. Now after you download this, I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to re-download that. You can see I have the version 5.0.20 and the pop-up gave us a message to download 5.1.28, but that's fine, doesn't make much of a difference. The current version that I'm using is also stable. If you want, you can switch to the latest version, not a problem. Installing VirtualBox is again the same stuff. It's an exe file. You click on the exe file, it will start running. Because I already have it installed, it will say repair or remove option. No new settings or typical settings that you need to do here. We'll select the repair option. We're doing this just to give you a sample of the screen options that you will get to navigate. You can see you don't get any option. If you are doing a fresh install, you will only be asked to select the location of the installed file. Okay, awesome. No, we don't want to restart, but you should restart. Okay, we have downloaded WinSCP and installed. We have downloaded VirtualBox and installed. Now we need to download Ubuntu. The third step. And when you go to ubuntu.com, download desktop, and it will give you this option. You just hit download. You will be presented with a page which I recommend you should fill in the entries. This supports Ubuntu. If you want to, you can contribute to Ubuntu as well. You can pay with PayPal, or if you don't want to make a payment right now, you can just click not now, take me to the download link, and as you click on this, your ISO file will start downloading immediately. Now again I have that with me. This is a 1.5 GB file, not much bigger in size. I already have it downloaded, so I'm going to cancel this. Okay, let's go ahead and launch VirtualBox. Okay, so we had installed VirtualBox, and this is how it looks after you have launched it. Now I already had an instance of Ubuntu, but for this tutorial I'll show you how you load an image into VirtualBox. So you click on new, you give a name, say I'm already using Ubuntu, so I'll put in Ubuntu 2. It will just going by your name, it detects the type and the version. You can manually change it as well. You can see there are a lot of options, 32-bit, 64-bit, Red Hat, Ubuntu. If by specifying the name, if this does not automatically select, you can always go ahead and check this. Now I had faced this problem when I could not get the option of Ubuntu 64-bit. What I had done, we need to change some virtualization settings in BIOS. This depends on computer to computer. I'm using a Lenovo IdeaPad 300, and I went to BIOS and I enabled virtualization, and then I got the option for Ubuntu 64-bit. Okay, so we are on the first screen. We click on next. You can change the memory size. I have a total of 16 GB RAM on my system. I can set it to anything, say let's put it 8 GB. Again I'll do a next. You need to create a virtual hard disk. You need to store all the information that would be present on your VirtualBox VM, in this case Ubuntu. So what you do is you click on you leave the default option selected, create a virtual hard disk. Now you click on create, let the virtual disk bus image be there, click on next, and let's leave it as it is, dynamically allocated. Click on next. You need to change the file location. Now this file is actually a .vdi file, and by default this gets created under your user home. I don't want it to be created under user home. I'll prefer D drive. Okay, I specify the path, I hit create, and done. So now you have created sort of a container where your Ubuntu can run. Now the only thing that needs to be done is specify the location of ISO file. There are some settings that we need to do. You select this option and do a right click, go to settings. You can see the basic, advanced tabs. I want a shared clipboard. I'll click bidirectional. I'll also want drag and drop feature to be there. I'll also click bidirectional. The other thing that we need to be concerned about is system. We can have a max of 2 processors allocated to the VM. Fine. Then go to network. There are 2 protocols that you can use to connect to your VM, that is NAT and bridged adapter. NAT requires you to do port forwarding, which I'm not interested in, so I'm going to use a bridged adapter. Fair enough, no more changes required. You click on OK, it's done. You click on start. And then you need to specify the location of your VirtualBox ISO file. In this case I have an Ubuntu, and I click on start, and job done. This will load for quite some time. It will give you options like selecting your time zone. uh, Now you'll get an option of try or install Ubuntu. We'll click on install Ubuntu. Download updates. Let's not download this now. Click on continue. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. Fair enough. Install now. Okay. The installation size is less. Let's let okay, you will get some default options. You click next. You will be asked to specify your name and system name. You'll need to select your time zone, and then the installation would be complete. I already have an instance of Ubuntu created. I'll start this machine. Yeah, this is taking some time. Let me pause this for a while. Okay, my VM has launched. You can do a full screen of this by click on view, full screen mode, switch. Okay, so you'll get a lot of options here, and the first thing that we need to do is we need to maximize this. How are we gonna do this? Okay, you'll see an option insert guest edition CD image. Okay, fair enough. Let's hit run. Authenticate. This will take some time. Okay, so after we have installed the guest editions, now is the time to install SSH on your Ubuntu machine. We execute this command sudo apt-get install open SSH server. What this will do is it will install SSH on your machine. After you have done that, you need to restart your SSH service, and this is the command you will need to enter to restart your SSH service. After you have done this, you need to execute this command ifconfig. When you enter this command, you get an inet address, which is this. Now this is the IP that we will need to use to connect to this machine from our Windows OS. You open WinSCP. I've already launched it here. Okay, and you create a new site. You give the host name. You give the port number as 22 because that is the SFTP port number. You punch in the username and then you hit login. Use the same password which is Sushant in my case, and you're in. So this was it, guys. We installed WinSCP, VirtualBox. We used the latest versions of VirtualBox, Ubuntu ISU. Then we installed WinSCP and VirtualBox. We configured Ubuntu on VirtualBox. Remember, we are using a bridge adapter. We installed SSH on Ubuntu. Then we have accessed it through WinSCP. And this completes the tutorial for today.